Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again with another tutorial, and today I'm going to show how to do this pattern here. It's actually a pattern on a sweater pattern that I have. I've had this pattern for a number of years, probably the late 80s, something like that. I have knitted it up before, but I'd only knitted it plain. I didn't put the Lacy pattern on it, so I'm going to do this the pattern here and show how it's done. And if anyone would like this pattern, I'll put the my email address will be in the description box. You can buy this pattern from Etsy or eBay. I think it's about $1.99, something like that. But if you want, you can have it for free from me. I'll do a PDF form and send it if you send me your email address. So this is how this pattern is done, and I've started off, it doesn't matter how many stitches I have at the sides, but it's 9 stitches in between from the start of each set of, like, I suppose I call chevrons, that look like chevrons, don't they? This pattern it's a 10 row pattern, but every other row is purl, and the rows in between are the Lacy pattern. But it starts off the first 2 rows, first row is knit and the second row is purl, and then I'll start the V pattern, the chevrons. So I'm going to knit the first row, and I'll pause that till I get to the end. And I'm at the end of this row. And that's the first row, a knit row. The second row is purl all the way across. And slip the first stitch, and then purl all the way across this row. And I'll pause this till I get to the end again. And I'm almost at the end of the row. Last 3 stitches. Last row knit. And I will start the first row of the chevron. And if you'll notice, this is the stitches are quite large. This pattern is double knitting, but it's knit on 4mm needles for the ribs and 5mm for the body part, and it's quite quick to knit up because of the size of the needles. So for anybody who's a slow knitter, it'll be a lot quicker. Now we're going to do the row with the first hole for the chevron, and it's slip the first stitch and then knit 9 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to bring the wool forward, slip the next stitch, knit the next stitch, and pass that slip stitch over, and then knit 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yarn forward, slip 1 stitch, knit the next stitch and pass that slip stitch over, and then knit to the end of the row. And that's the first row of the chevron. And the next row is purl. So slip the first stitch, and knit across the whole row. And I'll pause it till I get across that row. And I'm now at the end of that row. The last stitch, knit one. And now for the second row of the chevron, the actual third row. You slip one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches. Then knit 2 together, yarn in front of the needle, knit that centre stitch where the hole is, yarn over needle, slip the next stitch, knit the next stitch and pass that slip stitch over, and then you knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. Knit those next 2 stitches together, yarn in front of the needle, knit that centre stitch over the hole, yarn at the front again and slip 1 stitch and knit 1 stitch and pass the slip stitch over, and then knit to the end of the row. That's the third row of the pattern. We'll do the fourth row. It's another purl row. I'll pause that till I get to the end of the row. And I'm at the last 3 stitches. Purl 2 and knit that last stitch. So now we're on to the 5th row of the chevrons. So I'm going to knit 1 stitch, or slip 1 stitch, knit to 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the next 2 stitches, a little tip for knowing exactly where to knit the stitches together. You have 1 straight stitch here, going down, running down, and then the stitch next to it is where the chevron goes in the middle. Those 2 stitches you knit together. And it's yarn over the needle, and then you knit the 3 centre stitches, you yarn over the needle And on the other side, we're going to knit a stitch and slip a stitch, because you want them sloping the opposite way to the other side. So we've got the yarn in front of the needle, slip that stitch, the first stitch, knit the second stitch and slip that stitch over. And there you have the two, the sloping, the first one sloping outwards and that one sloping the opposite way. And then we're going to knit 5 stitches in the middle. 1, 2, 3, oh sorry, it's only 4 stitches in the middle. And again, that keeps you right by the 2 stitches you have to knit together is that one straight stitch going down there and the one that slopes down. So you knit those 2 stitches together, yarn at the front of the needle, knit the next 3 stitches, yarn at the front of the needle, slip the next stitch, knit the next stitch and pass the slip stitch over, and then knit to the end of that row. And then the next row, sorry, I'll take some wool out here. It's another purl row, so you're going to slip the first stitch and then purl across that row. And I'll pause it again till I get to the end. Now at the end of that row, the last 3 stitches, last stitch, knit 1. So that's another row of the chevrons. And the last row for the chevrons, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again you know where you knit the 2 together because of the stitch sloping down like that and the other stitch going down. Knit those 2 stitches together, yarn forward, then you're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, yarn forward, and then you slip the first stitch, knit the second stitch and pass that slip stitch over, and there you have the chevron sloping out over on each side. And then it's knit 3 stitches in the center, oh sorry, it's only 2 stitches, I went one too far there. You knit 2 stitches in the center, and knit 2 stitches together, yarn forward, knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn forward, slip the next stitch and knit the next stitch and pass the slip stitch over, knit to the end of the row, and the last row of the chevrons, purl. and I'll pause that till I get to the end. And now the last 3 stitches. Knit, last stitch, and that's those chevron stitches. Very easy and quick to knit because of the large size needles that we're knitting, and it's not very open, the stitch is still quite close. So if you like my video, would like to see more, thumbs up and subscribe.